How much time do I have? Did I just like waste a lot of time on that? That's not wasting time. All right, I don't need to check my time yet. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, this is a topic that has come up in conversations before with different people and with parents and so forth. And this is something where it's kind of a heavy topic, and I don't have an answer about this. So I'm just kind of bringing this one up as something to think about, a sort of like provoking thought to consider and to mull over on your own time. And and because it's kind of it's sort of touchy, whatever. I mean, people come to it with their own belief system and issues about it. So that's why I'm not actually venturing into, well, I think you should do such and such. I'm, far be it for me to tell you what to do, right? Try to steer away from that. So I'm bringing this point up, and I would welcome your emailed responses in terms of this topic. But some people and I were talking about how our sort of generation of parenting really has moved away from what many of us were raised with in terms of religious education, and this idea of like Sunday school or those kind of things, or even like this sort of organized religion in terms of like going to church or going to temple or what have you. So we're talking about we weren't talking so much about religion, we were talking about sort of spiritual education, and how like as kids we were not raised in a sort of like, you had your religion that your parents raised you in, and that was basically it. And so many people have rejected that and moved away from that as they're rearing their own children for many, many reasons, whether it doesn't align itself with your own particular belief system, or that you were scarred by Catholic school, or found, Hebrew school, particularly boring and grueling, or, no matter what it is, it's not really a particular to, or specific to a particular religion, but more that it's our own personal experience and how we come to that. And then the kind of flip side of that is like really not giving our children anything in that realm, and sort of expecting them to come to their own conclusions about this particular topic. And that goes across the board, whether you personally are agnostic or atheist or have very strong religious convictions. It's just interesting, like how we raise our children in contrast to that. And so for a lot of people who feel ambivalent about it, there's a sense of avoiding the topic, like really not knowing what to say to children or how to address it or how to explain it. It's probably more difficult for many parents to address than the issue of sexual education, just kind of like explaining the mechanics of how they were born or their baby brother. It's just kind of like, it's just an area that parents will often steer away from. And so the kind of conclusion was that, in neglecting that, are we actually doing a disservice to our children on a number of levels? Like there's a story I read that had a very strong effect on me, which was this woman who was raised in a sort of conventional organized religion upbringing, rejected that as she was raising her child in the 60s and early 70s, rejected that completely, raised her child without any religious education or what have you, and was very happy and proud of the fact that that's what she chose to do. So then when her daughter was older, her daughter got involved in, I don't want to say it was a cult, but it was just an organization that helped her achieve some sort of spirituality. And the mother was kind of surprised by this, to start with. Just thought, like, where did that come from? It seemed like very much out of left field. And then she actually went to this ashram to visit her daughter, and the woman who was, I don't know if she was a guru or what, but she approached the woman and said, "I'm sorry, actually your daughter is not here, and she doesn't wish to see you." And in fact, from that point on, the daughter broke all communication with the mother. But when the guru was explaining this to the mother, she said, "You neglected your child's spiritual education, and this is why she has come to us, because it was absent in her life." And I just thought that was quite remarkable. Like, not that like I have any expectations that this would happen to me or what have you, but it was just an interesting notion to think about. And then, the idea that, how that prepares your children for life in terms of, I don't know, concentrating on a more sort of ethical structure and not being so kind of ego-oriented as our culture tends to be. Especially like raising children nowadays with the influences that they have, which are very money-oriented and celebrity-oriented, and even on a more positive side, job-oriented. That tends to be what education is focused on. I mean, achieve good grades and you'll go on to a better education, and that translates into a better job, which translates into more money. While there's nothing wrong with that, there's an element of like a balance that's missing, in the sense that I said it's very ego-oriented. I kind of have to stop myself here because I'm not actually like, I don't know, maybe I'm getting in over. I really wish I had like somebody to bounce all these ideas off of. It would be really helpful if I had like a sort of a sidekick, or a panel of experts, because I'm not a pundit on this topic. Was that the right? And this lighting thing is just really messed up. I apologize, but it's a sunny day, and I have to be happy for that. So anyway, so that's the topic that I was opening up for exploration. Just curious to hear what people think about that, and or even if you don't want to share your thoughts with me, it was just some kind of just kind of planting the grain of like the possibility of what what this can mean for you and your children, and just something to think about. Because like I said, I don't have a good answer about it, and I'm not really sure how to approach it. And yes, I am much more comfortable discussing the mechanics of how a baby is being born than discussing, anything of the spiritual or religious nature. So